Welcome back, everybody. We are going to do a quick spring tour, show you what's going on, some of the varieties I got growing, and I'm going to just kind of take you around. There's not a whole lot to see right now. I kind of started late, but that's not my fault because the seasons this year are really not cooperating with the normal season protocols that we deal with up here. This year it's been extraordinarily cold. The nights have been dropping down into the 40s on a regular basis, and we're just not doing very good this year as far as the weather goes. But we're moving along. We're chugging along. We're just a little late this year. I wish things were a little bit earlier. Tomatoes are doing good, but the peppers are a little behind. So let me turn you around and show you what's going on. So in here, there's not much to see in here. This is generally where I grow most of my peppers. And you can see there's the Cardiances here. Here's the Espastugi. I'm not sure what you call this thing. Espastugi or something. We got, there's several variations of flexuosums I'm growing. So it's going to take a couple years before these actually start to really produce fruit. But this one's called Compost. I don't know. I don't have the name written down for it, but I forgot what it's called. It's a weird name, and it's very different from the other varieties, but it is a flexuosum variety. Then we got the Montalabo, Capsicum flexuosum Montalabo, the mystery purple flower here, which is going to be real interesting. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it came from pepper lovers originally, or I don't know where that variety comes from. This is the Cardiancy. We trim this thing back every year because it gets really big and bushy. So it takes this plant about a month and a half before this plant actually acclimates out here and starts growing wild. So right now it's still in the flowering stage. It kind of does that in the beginning of the year. Then once it starts getting hot and everything, it still flowers a little bit, but it starts more or less growing. So we got to start fertilizing, feeding it. But this is your Cardiancy. This plant is quite old. I don't see. There was a date on here. I have the original date written down somewhere. I keep log books of my plants from year to year, so I can always go back, look back at when it started, so I can check it out. You know, it's probably around 5 years old or something like that. It's not real old, but you can see the plants flowering all over the place. I mean, there's flowers all over this plant. But this variety of plant tends to be self-incompatible, so it doesn't really like to produce fruit. So a lot of times I got to pick off some of these other flowers, sacrificial flowers, and just cross them over, like, you know, kind of rub them together. Oftentimes that will start to give me fruit, but if you were to just leave this variety by itself to fruit on its own, it doesn't like to do that. It doesn't like to fruit on its own. I have to pick another flower and then rub them together, or bend the branches over and rub the two flowers together. I don't know why, but if you do that, it grows a lot better. This is CGN 19198. This is also a very old plant. This one's been around for a while. Last year and the year before, it didn't really seed for me, so I can't offer the seeds. This year we're going to try. We repotted it, put it in new soil. We got some weeds growing there. I let the weeds grow because it helps control the moisture in the beginning, but then eventually you got to pull them. But this is also a pretty old plant. It's very fragile. If you kind of touch it too much, the branches just snap on it. Very annoying. But we'll try to get seed coming back from this. It's actually kind of a hard variety to maintain year in and year out. But that's what that is. We got a couple hybrids in the back. This is Solano Chileense. It's a very rare wild tomato variety. Very fragrant. Has a very pungent smell. So yeah, this is the type 2. I got the type 1 and the type 2. I'm growing both of them this year. You can see we're getting flower clusters on it. So it's quite challenging to grow this plant. This plant is extremely difficult to grow. Once you plant this thing and wherever it's growing, do not touch it, because if you move it around, it suddenly gets sick and dies. I don't know, it just drops dead. Little things affect the plant. You can see like some of the leaves are kind of burning and curling on the end because it gets very hot in here, and it doesn't like the high temperatures and high humidity. So it causes a lot of problems. These are some microdwarfs I'm going to be growing in here this year. These are extras. You know, I got a lot of extras. I'm growing, 10 pots of each. So these are all like the extras, maybe the 11th or the 12th pot that they all sprouted and I grew. So I put them in here and let them grow out this year. They're generally pretty small, so to leave this area nice and open. Again, more of those. This one here is the Allura. Everybody's asking me about that. We're growing it. It's going to take time, and I just got to be patient. So it can take, this thing could take the better part of 3 months before I finally get ripened fruit off it. For some reason, a lot of these varieties, once they fruit sit on the plant and they don't do anything. They sit there for like months, and then all of a sudden they'll start to turn color, and then it's ripe, and then I could get the seed from it and offer it. So as soon as this one's ready, I'll make it available for you guys. Now there is one here, this one here that I'm kind of bouncing around here. This is a variant from this one, so I gotta actually dig this one out and find out what this thing is. I don't know, it's not like all the other plants. Just this one plant is coming out different, and I don't know why. So we're gonna separate that. It might get bigger, I don't know. We'll see what that does. And if it's really cool looking, then maybe I'll offer the seed for it for a limited time. If this is called the Nifidora, this is a second-year growth on this plant. This thing is really strange. It's I think it's a cross between an Annam and a Chinense. I'm not sure. I don't have the information right in front of me, but it's just a strange plant. This thing, it's been like this the entire winter. These leaves are probably, they're the original leaves from the plant from like way last year, like in the beginning of the year. It didn't drop its leaves, so I find that really strange about this plant. This plant's got some weird features to it, but it's basically a variegated Chinense. It's the only variegated Chinense that I know of right now, but I'm sure breeders are going to get it, and they're going to start bringing that, you know, their other varieties into it. So that's a really cool one. Look forward to that. Hopefully it fruits this year. I mean, it's flowering like crazy. I mean, it flowers on the thing. This thing flowers very heavily, but last year I didn't have a lot of success, so that's partly my fault because I was in and out of the hospitals. Get some of those older leaves off of here. Cascum flexuosum yellow flower, and the yellow flower is really cool. Let's see if I could show you one of the flowers here. That's the yellow flower version. I don't know if it's picking this up or what. You can see it's got like a little bit of brown in it and stuff. It's a very strange variety, this plant. Sometimes you'll see this happen on your flexuosum plants. Like the end of your plant will just drop dead for whatever reason. I don't know. This plant is really healthy. It's growing really good. It's got tons of flowers. It fruited last year, so this year should be a good fruiting year for that plant. So we'll have plenty of seed and stock for that. Capsicum lanceolatum. This plant, I struggled with it last year. I've been struggling with this plant on and off for the last, oh God, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years. And I've really struggled to try to get fruit out of this thing. Though this plant is producing fruit. A lot of the other plants would produce flowers and no fruit, but this one actually produces fruit. But it just doesn't like where I have it. This plant likes to grow kind of in the shade, so I got to move this thing out of here. It doesn't like being like right here where it's sunny and hot and cooking all the time. It doesn't like that. It likes to be in the shade. This is Frigialis. This is last year's plant. This thing got attacked by aphids, so I had to clean it all off, and it really took a toll on the plant, so it almost died. I had a couple of plants of this, so they died. This is the only one that's alive, but I do have seed, and I am growing it again, and you'll be seeing more of that. It's a very strange variety of plant. They call it Fragialis or something. Not sure who named it that, but I don't know much about it, but it's a really cool variety. It's very fragile. I guess that's what that means. Solanum maritimum. You got these right here, which you can see this plant goes all the way up. This was wintered from last year, so it's grown quite well. We should be able to get a full harvest of seed off of this plant this year, hopefully. It makes purple flowers, and it's a very beautiful plant. So I'm not sure about the berries or much about it, but you'll hopefully see more coming down from this as time goes on. I'll just show you the top of it really quick. That's what it looks like. Very strange plant. I like it a lot. I'm definitely going to try to winter it again. We got another wild Solana peruvianum type 2 in the back. That's I know people are like wanting that variety. It doesn't. I grew it a couple of years already now. Last year it didn't produce really any fruit. The year before, the first year I got it, it produced fruit pretty good. Second year it didn't produce fruit, and now I bring it in a greenhouse and put it in a pot because I may have to winter this plant over to get fruit out of it. I don't know. I only get 4 months. I get 4 months to make all this magic happen. That's it. We don't get any more than that. If I can't make it happen in 4 months, it doesn't happen. That's, again, Solanum chileense. That's another wild variety of tomato. The mystery purple flower or blue flower. It's called mystery purple or blue flower. I don't know. It should flower this year. This is last year's plants. They were all 3 or 4 growing in a pot. I had to separate them. So whenever you do that with these plants, they tend to, you know, they go into like a 2-month period of shock, and then once they come out of that, boom, they explode. They start growing like crazy. This is what is this called again? It's called not dragon's breath. Can't remember. Black cobra, I think they call it. It's goatsweed. It's like a furry type of an animal. It's very strange. A lot of people know what it is already, so I am preaching to the choir. Garden huckleberry. We're gonna plant that out this year. We'll get nice fresh seed for that. I'm not going to order any fresh berries. We got some experiments I'm kind of fooling around with, seeing what's going to work or what's not. This is National Park of Tikal, which is a chilitepine variety, which I really like a lot, but I'm out of seed of it. If this plant dies, I don't think you'll be able to buy it anymore. I don't know. I don't even remember where I got it. This is Capsicum fibrogancy, and we're trying to see if it'll take with roots. So it might take with the root, it might not take with the root. If it roots, then we might be able to offer some cuttings on this, because I do have to cut this plant back every so often just to trim it back to cause better growth. But I'm still trying to find out the best location to grow the fibrogancy plant. But if the roots, if the plant starts rooting, like if the cuttings root, we're just going to start selling the roots for that, because to try to sprout the seed for this variety is really, really hard. And believe me when I tell you, I tried sprouting seed that this plant directly produced fruit from. I tried to plant the seed fresh off the plant, and it still didn't sprout for me. So, you know, I'm not sure. It was fresh. It was fresh seed right out of the berry. Boom, took the seed out, planted it, and still didn't want to sprout. So it gave me a hard time. But you can see the plant is absolutely loaded. It's ready to go into a massive flowering stage. I dropped all its leaves from the winter, because this thing was like filled with leaves on it. So it dropped all its leaves, and it really don't like where it is right now. Because when the sun comes out, the plant gets wilty, and it doesn't like to be in the sun at all. This plant does not like direct sunlight. So I got to find a home for this. I might put it back in the corner over here where it doesn't get as much sunlight. I might do that. And this is Capsicum shakatanum, I think, shakatanium. And this is another one that doesn't really like sunlight, but it's not as bad as this one. This one really doesn't like sunlight at all. So between these two plants, you know, and it's not like they don't flower. These things flower like crazy. Both of them flower. They flower unbelievable. I mean, this thing's ready to go into full flower state, flower mode here, you know. I'm not sure how well you can see this. You know, it's getting ready to start blowing out flowers, but it's like 1 in every 100 flowers actually turns to a seed. So these are my tomatoes. We got some really cool varieties of tomatoes. I'm not going to go over all the tomato varieties. There's really that many of them. A lot of them are just regrowth for, you know, for last year, but we're regrowing it again this year, and just to make sure we got a good harvest and good, you know, quantity of seed that we can get from them. A lot of great varieties. A lot of stuff still getting planted. We got all the basils we're growing this year. We got some poppies we're growing. But some of the tomato varieties I do want to show you are some of my hybrids that I've been working on. And I've been growing them for a number of years, and there's still kind of off phenos that are still coming out of them. But I'm getting some really cool stuff out of these. So this is a Galapagos Island tomato. That's one plant actually started to become variegated. So that's what this is. So I'm curious to see what comes out of it this year. So this is the 3rd year it's growing, and the last year the tomatoes they were really small, like current tomatoes, and they just got a little bigger the next year. And so this year I'm not sure if we're going to get full-size tomatoes out of it or what. I don't know, but it's a variant that came out of one of my Galapagos Island hybrids that I created from when I created the Heirloom Reviews Wild Hairy current tomato. It had a variant, and that's one of the variants. Actually, a couple of these are variants from that original cross, and they're making really cool looking stuff. But this one's going to be really cool. This is really, really nice. This is a really nice variegated variety of tomato. It's really, really cool looking. So it gets nice, and the tomatoes get really hairy. The plant doesn't get as hairy, but the tomatoes get really hairy. So we'll see what that does. This is Woolly Mammoth, where we're regrowing this one. This one's actually Woolly Mammoth too. It's a second variant of the Woolly Mammoth, so they're kind of still splitting up a little bit here and there. So one of the Woolly Mammoth varieties that are coming out of that cross is coming out with this lace leaf type of leaf that comes off it from a wild type of leaf. And then the other variant of Woolly Mammoth is coming out more like this. So they're very different, and every now and again they'll come out of the same varieties, but I'm trying to separate them. So, you know, when you buy the seed, you're not going to get a whole mix of stuff. Though, I'll tell you what, some of the stuff you're going to see that comes out of these varieties, they're just going to blow your mind, because there's always something weird coming out of them. This is called Sticky Icky. This is another variety I might offer this year if I can get, you know, a good collection of seeds from it, and I can get a good production of plants that, you know, are nice and healthy and are not, and they all seem to be consistent. I might offer seeds for the Sticky Icky. So what is the Sticky Icky? The Sticky Icky, this one here is Woolly Mammoth. You can see it's already starting to produce fruit already. The Sticky Icky is really strange. You could feel it right now. The leaves get extraordinarily sticky, like it's got honey on it. But when you rub your fingers, you don't feel nothing. But the plant itself is very sticky. I don't know what to say about it. It's not like the other plants. The other plants don't do this at all. Just a Sticky Icky variety. So it was a variant that came out of the Heirloom Reviews Wild Currant Tomato. It's a variant that came out of it, and I separated it, and this is what we're ending up with. So I'm going to grow this out another year or two, and you know, once I feel comfortable that it's coming out pretty stable, we'll offer the seed for that. I might offer it at the end of the year, this year. I'm not sure. But it's a really cool variety. Like I said, it gets very, very sticky. The more it's in the sun, it seems like the stickier it gets. And it gets really, really sticky. I mean, I'm talking like sticky, icky, sticky. I mean, it's strange. The tomatoes kind of get like a stickiness to it. If you've ever eaten, what do they call those things? Those husk tomatoes, what are they called? Tomatillos? If you ever eaten those and you peel that skin off it, you touch the tomato, it gets really sticky. That's kind of what this does, but it's furry. You'll see. I'll do a review on it later in the year. This is also another crazy variant that came out of one of my plants, and I'm not even sure where it came from. I know it's from one of my crosses, but I don't know which one it is, because I don't have the tag for it, because I didn't think nothing of it. I think I just separated the plant, and I just wrote down, this is all I wrote on it. Variegated small cherry. I didn't actually write the number of what it was down. So in other words, when I grew out the plants, that would have been number, say, 117 from last year. I'd be able to look it up and tell you everything about that plant and where it came from. But because I separated it from the pot and I just kind of grew it on the side to the end of the year, I didn't actually write down what number it came from, so I don't remember what it's from. But it is from something, so we'll have to see what comes out of this one. But you can see it's got an absolutely beautiful, beautiful crumble type of variegation to it. It's just gorgeous looking. I mean, this is really, this has got such an awesome looking pattern on it. And so I'm really curious to grow that out again this year and see what it does. That's like 2 years, I think. So what was that, last year that happened? No, it was the year before. Then we grew it last year. I didn't have time because I was in and out of the hospital, so I couldn't keep up with things. They grew it last year. I don't even think I kept seed from it, or that might be the seed from it. I don't even remember. Then I decided to regrow it again this year because I completely forgot what it was, and that's what's coming out of it. So now that I look back into whatever I got, it's a weird one. So it's definitely going to be interesting. We got more variegated varieties. I can't remember all of them. And these are generally all the rest of my peppers that are just starting to come in now. And yeah, I know they're a little small for this time of the year. These should be at least double this height this time of the year. But because I got started, I didn't even start late. It was just such a cold, miserable cold season. It just screwed me up. And I can't bring my plants out. I got to keep everything under lights. And as a result of that, everything kind of just didn't want to grow. It kind of stunted. Just a really, really crappy year. So we're late, but I got a feeling we'll still get through it and still get a harvest out of it. We got a lot of really cool stuff coming up this year with peppers. You're going to see a lot of different stuff you'd never seen before. Plus, I got some of my own hybrids in there. I've been kind of fooling around with some of the Xenon cross hybrids, like this one here. That's just a temporary name I put on it so I remember what it is. You can see I got a tag number on it. That's just so I know what it is, but that's not the actual name on it. It's a Xenon Cross 1, and I don't remember what I crossed it with off the hand. I have to look it up, but that's a pretty cool one. I remember the peppers got quite large on it, so they were getting big. They weren't those tiny little peppers. These are large, so this is going to be really fun. I'm gonna probably plant that outdoors this year, because I'm growing 2 or 3 of those pots, and so one will be in here, one will be outdoors. Got another Xenon Cross there. Got another one there. This is another one. This is Xenon Cross 1A or double A. That one's a double A. I think that one was A. But I've got a few of them in here, and this one's growing very big. So this one's probably going to get very large and tall. I'm not sure. And as you can see, a lot of stuff is just starting to come in. But once, we got a little bit of aphid action going on here. And I am picking off the aphids as I see them. I don't know where they come from, because all the soil that you see that's in these pots was all baked. So I don't know where they're coming from. They must be coming from like the walls and the ground from last year where I had some aphids. Maybe they're coming from that. But I don't know how they get in here or where they're coming from, because this was all sanitized. Don't know. I don't have an answer to that kind of stuff. But yeah, we got a good amount of stuff going this year, and this ain't all of them. We got some runner beans over here. I forgot what the name of this runner bean is. It's called runner bean Scarlet. It's called a Scarlet runner bean. There's different types of runner beans, but this one's pretty good. I'm not sure the total difference between a runner bean and a pole bean, but I think runner beans just don't get that long. The pole beans can grow, 30, 40 feet long. We got these things here. What are these called again? I can't remember all these names. They're a flower. I'm going to plant those in the back a little bit more over there and let them grow wild. These things really take up a lot of room, so I'm not going to grow them in here. I like to grow my pole beans and let them grow right up this pole and then spread it along my greenhouse, because it blocks a lot of that sunlight, which allows my plants a little bit of shade. If I don't do that, it gets to 120, 140 degrees in here, and it starts killing plants. So I let my pole beans grow in there, and it just works. It just balances the temperatures and the humidity and everything in this greenhouse. We got over here, we got some radishes we're growing. Again, we're just growing these for seed. I'm not growing them for presentation or doing reviews on radishes or anything. We're just growing them for the seed, but we got several variations of radishes growing. That's that is it's a cross that I created, but this plant is like 2 or 3 years old now. And it did some weird stuff. Like, originally when I first grew this, I didn't know it was going to produce green pods, but it produced these green pods, like nice lime green pods. But then the next year when I brought it back out, the pods started to actually become like a bone color. I don't know what happened there. And then now I don't know what it's going to do this year. So we'll have to see what happens, on this one. If it stays green again and I like it, then maybe I'll offer some seed to this one. And again, that was called Kryptonite 174. That's what I named it. But will it do it again? I don't know. I don't know what this plant is. Really strange. It does some weird stuff. One year it's kind of like full green, like ripening to the point where the pods literally were rotting in a green stage, and then the last year it started to turn a little bit like a bone color. Started getting bone color, and these pods were sitting on the plant. I let them sit on the plant for literally like 3 or 4 months, and eventually they turned into a different color. So I just found that really weird. I don't know. I've never really seen that before. These are all my wilds. I'm going to keep most of my wilds around here. Not all the wilds, but most of my wilds here, and just kind of let them grow out. This might not be the best location to grow these, but I don't know where else to put them. I may have to put some kind of shade tarp or something over the top of this. They don't like direct sunlight. They kind of wilt when the sun comes out. This is really cool. You're going to like this one right here, Grablusicolum tiger. That's a really cool variety, and it's really cool. I got to show you the pods that come off of that thing. We got our Flexuosum here. This is the original green flower. This plant has got to be close to 10 years old. This thing you're seeing up here is coming off a little strip of life down here. If you see the stem, this whole side of the stem died. This is it. This is all dead wood right here. You see all this? The only thing that's making this whole stem live, which I should cut it down, but I'm just really curious to see what this does. Kind of growing like a willow. You see this little strip of meat right here? I'm not sure if you can see that. If you see that little strip of meat right there, that's what's feeding this whole upper canopy. If I just cut that off, all this stuff here will start to grow and get bigger. I'm not doing that specifically to see what this thing does. I mean, this is really weird. It's like if you ever seen a tree when it gets like scarred, the meat starts growing back around and it recovers the old thing. I'm curious to see if it's going to do that, because it kind of looks like it wants to do that. Look at what it's doing. Just try to zoom you in up on that. Come on. Time for a new camera, guys. Make a donation. I need a new camera. Somebody donate some money, man. I'm going to buy a really good one. I'm going to buy a Canon. The next one, I'm not going to buy these little camcorders. I don't like these things. But you can see the meat on here, right? And then you can see this is where the dead wood is. It's kind of growing like a tree. You ever see a tree, how the meat starts growing back around the old tree? That's kind of what it's doing. It's growing like a tree. It's really strange. And it just, one side of it died. But you can see it's doing it all the way around. Now you see these other things down here? You see where they come up from the soil? And then you got all these other plants. Those are all suckers that came from the root system of this thing. So this thing's randomly shooting up. It shoots up sections of roots that come up. Suckers, basically. You can see there's a baby one right there. That's one coming up right now. It's a new shoot coming up from the bottom. This is an extremely bizarre type of plant. And this plant will actually live in northern climates. So you can establish this plant in a northern climate environment, and it'll grow from year to year. You just got to pick a good location and just give it a go and see how it does. You could also see over here some of the shoots coming off. See how they're starting to come up out of this thing? It wants to shoot. So I could cut it down to get it to be more productive, but I'm really curious to see how this plant behaves with this, the way it's growing. It's just really strange. Just very strange to me. I'm still learning this plant. I don't think anybody's ever going to get to the point where they learn it that much. Look at that. A little snail. So that's what this is. That's your hardy chili. This is the green variety. I'll show you the flower really quick. Very beautiful flexuosum flowers. These flowers do get purplish in the wintertime when it gets cold. They start producing a purpleness in the flower. Maybe I'll insert a clip somewhere so you can see what it looks like. These are all the different variations of parvifoliums that I'm growing. These plants are quite tall and they get even bigger. I got 3 or 4 variations of, I got the Roxa, I got the Blanca, I got the parvifolium white flower, and I'm not sure what else I have with those. I have them growing right here. Then we got the Catangia, Capsicum Catangia, I think it's called, or something. That's what these are, and they're getting a little bit of an aphid problem, so I'm going to have to deal with them with spraying. So I'm probably going to have to spray them. I got a couple. I think I got 2 variations of the Catangia. I think one's a white flower, and one is a, what do you call it? It's a purple flower. So there's 2 variations of the Catangia, and I got both of those. And that Fibergancy that you see, that's been a white flower version, and somebody had told me that the white flower version is either, one person told me that it only happens in colder climates, and then another person says, no, that's actually a different variety of Fibergancy. It's very rare. That's what they told me, and they're like, how did you get it, blah, 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 and they're like breaking my chops about it. So I don't know what to say about it at this point, because who knows who to believe. Now this is really interesting here. This one here is called Capsicum Eximium white flower. Now this is the strange thing about this plant, is I've had this plant growing for several years now, and this plant grows like a vine. It literally grows like a vine. I mean, this thing's ready to, this thing right now is probably, if you were to lay it out, it's probably over 10 feet tall, but it looks like it's going to continue to grow. I'm just going to keep wrapping it around this way, all the way to the other side of the greenhouse, and it grows like a vine, as you can see right here. You see how this is growing? It's very strange. It's kind of wrapping itself around this plant, and it's definitely a capsicum variety. It's not like a different type of species or anything like that. It's just Capsicum Eximium white flower. That's all I know about it. But it grows like a vine, and it's really, really cool. So we'll do a review on that later in the year, and we'll examine that one a little bit better. Like I say, I got a couple variations of Quintisho, and I think I have Kleindodium. I think it's called Capsum Kleindodam or something. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Or it's the other one, Longitanium. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. I don't know. I know I'm not pronouncing the names right because I don't have them in front of me, and I don't know how you actually pronounce those. But it's one of those two varieties, and it was probably a seed that got in accidentally, because it came out of the same pot that this is growing in, and this is Parvifolium white flower, which is also a hard variety to grow. And just some more of the late start varieties I have to regrow again. The winters are just so bad up here that, I mean, we're still getting temperatures that are dropping down into the, what are we getting next week? The whole week of next week's going to be the upper 30s and 40s. That's enough to kill everything in this greenhouse. You'd be like, no, that's not freezing. Yeah, but it stunts the plants, and then the plants don't grow, and that's the end of my season. So as long as if it's in the greenhouse, it's okay. But if I plant outside, absolute nightmare. But yeah, we had to start a few of these over again because we're doing germ tests on a lot of this stuff, and we're also going to grow this stuff out too. And a lot of this stuff's going to be grown in here, and the rest we'll show you outside that we're going to grow outdoors. Okay, so out here, we decided to weed barrier everything this year. I couldn't take, last year was so bad with the weeds. It's basically wiped me out. I couldn't keep up with the weed problem. So last year it was just, I mean, I just couldn't keep up with it. And so the weeds were just literally like devilish, if you want to use that term. So this is what we're dealing with, this year. And we're going to grow our tomatoes on that side. We're going to grow our peppers in here. I could fit almost 100 varieties in here of peppers. So a lot of what you see over here will eventually go out here. So I got to wait till those plants mature to the right size. And once we get to that stage, out you go, right out into here. And this cost, each roll had to buy 2 rolls of 300 and something, 20 feet or something like that. So that roughly was $150 a roll, I think. So you're talking somewhere around $300 it cost me to weed barrier both sides of this garden. A lot of money, but between me and you, it's absolutely well worth it because I am sick and tired of pulling weeds. I've had it. I pulled my back last year. Just random potatoes that are coming up in this bed. I just use this bed generally to dump all my old seed, and all kinds of crazy stuff just starts popping out of it. I mean, I don't even know what comes out of here. You can see these are all cucumbers and peas that are coming up. These are potatoes, so I'm hoping to get true potato seed this year. Last year, I didn't get no true potato seed, so I don't know. I was upset with that. I mean, the plants looked really healthy and everything, but they didn't produce seed last year. So it's really hard to get seed from the potatoes, but some years I get lucky and I get seed from it. This year, or last year, and the year before, I think even too, I didn't even get any seed from it. And when they do finally produce seed, it's only like 2 or 3 berries, and that's it. I don't get anything more than that. That's your Artemisium absinthium. I think that's what it's called. That's wormwood. And so I let it grow in a corner here and just let it do its thing. And I do eat this from time to time. Like, I'll eat that. Oh, there was an insect down there. You almost ate the insect. Very pungent, very strong. You have to develop a taste to eat that. But once you do, I pick this thing every day, a couple leaves a day, and I eat the leaf. And I love it when it's fresh like that. When this stuff is fresh and you eat it, it's like eating licorice. But not quite like licorice. Very strong, very pungent. But you develop a taste for it. And once you do, you can't stop eating it. So, yep. That's my Artemisium absinthium. A lot of the stuff you see growing around here, I got to pull all this stuff out still. And this is called jewelweed. I planted a couple jewelweed plants here one time, and now the stuff's all over my yard. And I got to get rid of it now. I don't mind it growing by the pond, which is something I'm going to clean out and shoot a video on this year. Later on this year, I'm going to show you that I got to clean it all out, and I'm going to restock it with fish, but I haven't had time for it. But this year, I think we're going to clean it if it's not too hot, And That's our wolfberries over here, or I think the other name for those is called goji berries. That's our goji berry plant. That thing's about 10 years old. Sometimes it produces fruit, sometimes it don't. This is the second year it's been growing outdoors, so with a little bit of luck, as long as if it acclimatizes outdoors and it keeps growing every year, I think hopefully we'll start seeing berries out of it. And then along this fence, this mid fence I use over here, along that I'm going to be growing a lot of my my Mexican sour gherkins on that, and maybe some beans along that fence on the inside. That helps the plants get a little bit of shade during the super hot days. I mean, when it gets hot out here, especially with the tarps down, oh man, it's just too much on the pepper plants, you know. So you end up frying everything. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I got to be ready for the worst. And you can see I got the giant Atlantic pumpkins are popping up because I grew a bunch of them last year, and man, these things took off last year. I took up the entire garden over here, so we don't want that again. So I might pull those out and get rid of them. I got more seed to that variety. I know what to do with. And basically that's it, guys, for now. That's it until we can shoot another update video. The next update video I'm going to show you will probably be on me cleaning out the pond. You can see the pond's really gotten out of control. I got to pull all the ivy up. I got to get these cattails out of here. I might leave a couple cattails, but man, you can see how the cattails literally filled in the whole pond. So I'm not getting as many frogs in here and everything. So we're going to be pulling a lot of that out. Plus I noticed a lot of snakes have been coming in here, and I got to be real careful with the snakes because we got copperheads up here and eastern rattlesnakes, or what do they call them, eastern diamondbacks. So we got to, you know, clean this thing out and just get a lot of this out of here. It's unbelievable. And it's not even growing in dirt. It's just floating in the water, dropping an entire root system down. So yeah, it's a lot of work's got to go on here. We're going to clean it out and get that thing ready. We'll do a video separate on that. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.